Hello everyone, Namaste, this is Luke Elijah. My video guest today is Brian Koh, who is the resident consultant at Life by Design Consultancy here at Haji Lane. Right, thank you Brian for being here with us today. Could you tell us more about your background and how you got started and how you ended up owning a holistic center here, right? And what's special about this holistic center is the only one in Singapore that actually has a first floor storefront as well.
Thank you, Luke. I'm Brian. I'm the owner of Life by Design. Well, I started my journey when I was 12, and I remembered that I managed to work with cards when I've actually no idea what I was doing at that time.
What kind of cards? Tarot cards?
Tarot, yeah. My first deck was a deck of tarot, but I found it a bit difficult then. But I was very drawn to it, and I remembered that once I figured out what I was doing, I was already doing readings for people. I was helping my mom when she was working at that time. She had a retail shop, and what I did was I was already doing readings for her neighbors, and that was what started the journey.
So how did you progress from like discovering your spiritual side to actually owning your first holistic center over at Bugis? Was it what street was it? Tan Kee Lan Street, right?
Yes.
Before you moved here
Yes.
to these new premises, how did you decide? Okay, this is what I want to do. Because prior to that, you were actually a civil servant. You had a
Yes.
full-time job.
Yes.
Right? Could you share with us your
Right.
journey?
Yes, I've always been interested in metaphysics,
Yes.
but it was very much like an interest. It was something that I did, and whenever I went for holidays, I would actually go for classes. I see it more as developing my interest at that moment. Yes, I was a civil servant. I was in the teaching fraternity for 12 years. And I guess at the end of 2012, I felt that, no, it's the end of 2011 actually, right? I felt that I enjoyed teaching, but I felt that there seems to be a shift, and I think I was going through spiritual awakening, spiritual transformation, and I decided that yes, I was going to become a full-time practitioner. So what I did was I took a risk and I started my first center at Tan Kee Lan Street. And at that time, Life by Design was more like it was more a center where we have classes. It was very different from the center now. We were focusing more on classes, and we were focusing more on consultations. And I stayed in Tan Kee Lan for 2 years, and then eventually in the end of my lease with Tan Kee Lan, I decided that I was going to move over to Haji Lane. Yes.
You know, I have to commend you on your bravery. It's very brave to say you want to set up a holistic center, because it's not easy for most people. Because most people, they do it in the past and then they'll give up. It's not. It's hard to survive and make it. And you've done a very fabulous job. And I must also commend you because you're a really good teacher. I've attended several of Brian's courses and workshops myself over at the old center as well as the new one. And he's a really funny teacher. I mean, just because of your background teaching, so you're very experienced, alright, and I just enjoy your lessons because you're always humorous. You make spirituality can be a very serious topic, but you made it very lighthearted and enjoyable and easily digestible for most people, alright. And what I found best about you is because I found that you have such extensive knowledge about essences and crystals in particular. Could you perhaps share with us how that came about, and perhaps share with us some of your favorite essences and essential oils that you are selling, that you carry in your store?
Okay, yeah. Yes, I actually started, I have always been interested in oils and essences when I started my spiritual path. But I became actually more, it became actually more of my healing modality when actually I went over to Scotland, on the island of Gia, and I started actually working with this series of essences known as the Living Tree Orchid Essences.
Yes,
and
beautiful.
I love working with these essences because in a way when you're working with essences, you tend to empower your clients more rather than for clients to actually come back for regular healing sessions. And choosing an essence is important as well, because I think it deals a lot with working on self-awareness
Yes.
for the clients, and for the clients themselves to be disciplined enough to work on certain essences and to follow certain instructions so that they can empower their own healing. And that's the reason why, and I feel that vibrational essences, whether they are tree, flower, or crystal essences, they are very effective in working on the energetic body. So whether it is for physical use, emotional, or even spiritual use,
Yes.
essences are very
Yes,
powerful.
multi uses for them, right?
Right,
They work
yes.
on many levels,
Yes,
physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as well.
that's
See,
right.
I have bought several of these essences from you myself,
Yes.
like crystal and orchid essences, and I tell you, I love them. At first, I was skeptical, but when I tried it and meditated after, I could start to see visions and flashes of insights. It's amazing. I mean, from being a skeptic, I'm now a loyal user. So yeah, it's amazing. I recommend people, just give it a go if you've not tried it before, right? You also sell Young Living essential oils, right? And could you perhaps run through some of your favorite essential oils,
Yes.
especially those with a spiritual basis?
Right.
Mm.
Yes, I do. I do sell essential oils in my shop, and I do use essential oils as part of my healing. Young Living is not the only brand that
Carry,
I
yes.
carry, because again, it depends on what you use
The
them
purpose.
for.
Mhm.
And most of the time when I work with the Young Living oils, I use them mainly for spiritual uses,
Yeah.
because they are very good for spiritual anointing, and I think one of the thing I liked about Young Living oils is they have very nice spiritual blends that you can use for meditation, that you can use for protection, you can use for raising your vibrations as well. But I personally now I do teach at Young Living office as well. I do run classes there. What I like to do, however, is to actually share the spiritual uses of single oils. Again, my personal belief is to empower people to know more about oils, and oils are very versatile. They are not purely just for physical or emotional use, and they can actually help to
In your
do
meditation.
in meditation. For example, I think one of the most popular oils that we like to work with is peppermint. And peppermint is an oil that many people use it for
Headaches, stomach aches,
stomach aches, and for nausea, to energize themselves, because it has that feel of giving life. But in reality, if you use peppermint for spiritual use, peppermint is an excellent oil to use for clearing spaces. And you can actually use peppermint as part of an oil that you diffuse to clear negativity. You could use it also to protect the space when you feel you do not have some of the other spiritual blends. So I think one of the things that I like about oils is because they are very versatile, and
for sure.
they are very easy to use actually once you know how to use them effectively.
Yeah, I mean, he's the go-to person if you want to know anything about essential oils, how to use it, right? And not just essential oils, but essences, crystal and orchid essences as well, right? You're the most knowledgeable person I know of here in Singapore, okay, for that. I also like to ask you, I mean, like knowing you for a while,
Yes.
you are actually a very grounded spiritual practitioner, and spiritual grounding is something that most people, especially when they're new to their awakening, they actually overlook, right? And they find that how do you balance spirituality into their daily lives, and they find that they can't make it practical, but you manage to do it, and you actually teach it. It's one of your main topics. Could you perhaps share with the viewers how do they ground themselves, and how do they make spirituality a practical aspects of their life?
Okay, I personally feel that I think grounding I mean, in all my classes, I will actually emphasize that grounding is the most foundational skill to have before we even embark on anything spiritual. But I guess instead of sharing about the techniques in grounding, which there are many, I feel that what is important for people to actually understand about grounding is this, that while as we are going into what we call a spiritual path, we could be going into modalities.
Yes.
We could be doing things to raise our vibration. I think there are several things that we need to remember. Now, the first thing really is we are here, or the soul is here, to experience what we call a human experience. And that is actually one reminder I always have for myself, that I am not here to be airy-fairy. I am not here to hide in a place so that I could be a recluse. I'm not here so that I could just work on spirituality. I do have many roles here. We
Yes,
are
well said.
children, we are parents, we could be colleagues, we could be friends, and we have to remember that these are the earthly roles that we have. And if we can understand that we do have an earthly role, that is one thing that keeps us
Anchored. Mhm.
and we still feel that we are here because we need to face the realities of the real world.
Yes.
Now, the second point is really about awareness, and I feel that to be spiritually grounded, we first have to be aware of the issues that we have. And when we talk about issues, most of the time we find that it will take us perhaps a lifetime to clear all our issues. But it is important that as we are proceeding on with our spiritual path, what we do is we take effort, or we make effort to do a lot of release work for ourselves, so that we don't bear the burden of other people's expectations, we don't bear the burden of negativity to affect us in any way. So when we are able to do release work, what we are doing indirectly is to identify the issues that we need to clear and tell ourselves to let go. And letting go is really a process that is important, because some people would assume letting go means to forget. But letting go does not mean pretending it didn't happen. Letting go means to face the issue and to tell yourself that you're no longer affected because you've gotten back your empowerment. And I feel this is important in spiritual grounding, because for many people, when we are not able to work on the issues, or we are not able to face the issues, or perhaps we have no solutions for the issues, some of us go into something called spiritual addiction. So we may go into a lot of things, into spiritual work, we try to find ourselves, but indirectly what we're trying to do is we're trying to evade the issues, and we're just trying to
escape
tell
life,
ourselves,
escape reality.
and we're just trying to tell ourselves that, oh, to be spiritual means I am of light, I can go to a place, I don't need to face my issues. And what I personally feel is sometimes when we do that, when we're into spiritual addiction, sometimes we lose ourselves. Second point really is, sometimes because of the inability to face issues, we come up with labels, we come up with identification to perhaps justify that we are not supposed to be on earth, or we are not supposed to be here, and we need to do something to accelerate our growth. Now again, I would say that for our own spiritual paths, we're all very different, we all have different potential, and I think it is important to really enjoy the process, enjoy the path, instead of always seeking ways,
To escape. Yeah.
or even to find an instant cure to remove all your issues, and it's not possible.
It's not possible, and it's not desirable, because we actually incarnated to go through the process to
That's
evolve.
right. That's
right. Okay, that's very well said. Thank you for that. I'm sure the viewers would benefit from your advice. Could you as well share with us your upcoming projects and courses and workshops that you have in store for 2015?
Okay. For 2015, I will be traveling more often. I have just returned from a trip to Indonesia to do some healing work with them. And what I will be doing is to embark more on teaching people how to heal themselves using essences and essential oils. Similarly, I am still running the same old classes that I love to teach.
It's a cycle, right?
It's a cycle,
Yes.
and I'm still focusing on some of the modalities that I teach, like spiritual dowsing, mediumship, oracle card reading, and the use of essences and essential oils. So these would be the main focus that I'll be focusing on in terms of the kind of classes that I will be teaching. And I will of course continue to be teaching in Young Living Office to share with people how to use the oils effectively.
That's great, Brian. How can people find out more? Where can they go to read up about what the timetable and the description of the courses that you have on offer?
Okay. There are several ways. One, you could of course pop by at 43 Haji Lane. You can pop by, have a chat with me. You can attend some of my workshops if you find that they resonate with you. And to find out more about the workshops, you can actually visit me on my website. I do have a Facebook page. You can go and information is being updated there. I also have a meetup group, so people can actually find me through these platforms.
You can click on the links below to get to make sure that you can be able to reach Brian. He also offers private consultations and oracle card readings and healing sessions. Right. So thank you very much, Brian, for sharing your time here with us today, and we hope to see you in a future video.
Thank you.
Right.